Hello and welcome back to the channel. So tonight's video is all about doing an end of season review, going through how all three teams have performed. Two Spark teams, one Stone team, had a couple of playoffs tonight. I want to share how I got on with those with you now. Also, we've got this new pack offer that's going on in the store. I can see that now all the Spark licenses have actually sold out. We've got our Season 7 Club promo for Flint, which I'm very, very tempted, and this is the reason why. I've been trying my damnedest since I started to keep an eye on Leeds licenses. Not been able to get hold of anyone. I think Bremner's got most of these. Fair play, I'm not even going to go there and try and touch them. There's a couple of people who own them who are active, but I can't get hold of them because there's no contact information for them. But I spotted earlier today the Flint licenses have been minted. So I'll be honest, I've been spending ever since I spotted that, and then the Flint promo went live, I've been refreshing, seeing if it happened to come up on the market. I might actually filter that a bit more to England, because fingers crossed, one drops on the market, I'm going to be all over it. So if you happen to know someone who ends up packing one, and or it's you, I will happily pay over the odds. I want that license. But I digress. Let's go on to how I got on this season then. So we'll start out with the reserve squad. The reserve squad, because this is the one that the AI had running for me. I'm going to look into building a tool, independent from other tools, to see if that can aid me with picking my team, and then maybe in tandem with ChatGPT is what I use, see if I can do a bit more work. But considering the strength of our team, considering the strength of our opponents in this league, and getting ourselves all the way to the cup final, I think we can say pretty decent job from the AI. Second half of the season, as you can see, bit of rope, a bit of form, but I basically dropped my main starting players in view of the cup final, which sadly didn't go our way. I'll be honest, I felt a little bit hard done by with how the match turned out. XG isn't everything. I have analysed it. There was a bit of a lack of quality, and to be honest, this 4-3-3 false 9 did a number on us. But yeah, every time we were in with an opportunity to get some shots, we were having them blocked and blocked and blocked and blocked. Very frustrating game to watch. But congrats to our opponent. I could see he was making a lot of moves with his formations game to game, changing his tactics up. So it was always going to be a bit of a battle, that one. Not the strongest of squads. Supplemented a little bit towards the back half of the season, but as you'll notice, most of these players, I think they've got maybe 4 or 5 of them are my agency players. I loaned them in 0% contracts after the deadline had passed in terms of registering for the league. So I did a late entry registration for this team, 2-point deduction I think it was in the end, and they fulfilled all the contracts. Everyone got their minimum appearances, and actually some of the guys in here actually got some nice progression over the course of the season as a result. So hopefully there's a lot of happy managers out there who have got their player back, who has picked up some nice bit of progression, like Rafino here. He was a first team starter, came in at 51 rated, leaves as a 54. Quite a tidy little player, age of 22. So yeah, nothing really major. Benamar, who I got at the start of the season, managed to tear break during the course of the season. I think it was saying he needed to play stronger opponents. Not much more I can do with that one at the moment. But then let's move on to the Peacocks. Finished second in the league. I do apologise to Snake, because the way our game went towards the end of the season, which, if I load it up, probably do it a bit more justice. I was fortunate. There were some dubious situations where I got my goals. Which one was it in particular? Was it my second one? I think it was this one in particular, which I'll show you. So no, it ended up breaking to my left winger in the end, but I don't know what his goalkeeper was doing there. I'd be very annoyed at that one. My goalkeeper had a pretty good game, as I recall, overall. If I just take it to full time, yeah, an 8.2. I know the 3-5-2B does perform well against the 3-5-2, even though I was kind of locked into this tactic due to the kind of squad I put together. But yeah, it was a bit of a rough one for him to take, because it meant I leapfrogged him in the league. And then the final game of the season, to sort of settle it and go, okay, I need to get the points or outdo his particular matchup. And I didn't realise this until after the game when I was doing a bit of scouting, that our manager here has basically been, Everett's been a buy since about mid-season. He hasn't rotated his players basically, and they were run into the ground in terms of energy levels. So sad way to end the season in that regard. But we did play in the playoff. Had one of Pranks' teams. Set up as a 4-1-2-1-2 narrow. Went 1-0 down actually in this game. But ended up, as you can see, coming through 3-2 winners. Holt on the right hand side, who's been pretty standout this season. He's a very tidy little player. Still quite young, I think, as well. Yeah, 22. Sadly, no progression this season, but again, I think it's a case of wrong league for how strong he is. It was a very competitive league this season. But yeah, we're 1-0 down. I was actually a few minutes late to loading up the match because I was putting my daughter to bed and walked in and I was like, and yeah, I wasn't wildly impressed at that point. We managed to get ourselves back into the game though. Mr. Holt himself picking up the goal. Found that in these transitions we managed to win it back, and that's one place next season that I've already been planning for is my centre backs. Not the best of strength and my CDM department. There's a few areas that I'm looking to strengthen, but I've sort of mapped out that team. Holt got us our 2-1 goal to put us 2-1 up, and I think it was Brunner who finished it off, who recently just tear broke himself. Last training session of the year actually. So yeah, I don't know if you spot that again, if I just speed it up a little bit to begin with, and I'll slow it down. But Maya, when he was in on goal, let's slow it down now. I'm sure it's off the post and off the crossbar. Post? No, it was me seeing things. Managed to follow it in. The amount of times I've seen that get skied, and then to finish it off, Brunner, let's put it on 1.25 to speed things up a little bit. Ostapenko, our central centre-back, going into territory he shouldn't be venturing into. Brunner sees out the victory, and we managed to hold on for the 3-1 win. Very happy to get this team promoted up to ice for next season. And then, yeah, we went on to the final playoff, which has just concluded in the last 10 minutes or so, and I thought, actually, based on how it went, I'm going to record. Because I was going to postpone until all the playoffs were sorted about an end-of-season review piece. So, end of the season, during the halfway stage, Ramble was slightly ahead of us. Kev had a bit of a march on us. Had a bad start, I think, as it came back from the mid-season break. Didn't get the rub of the green in that game. And then we went on quite a tidy little run. I think we were 1 or 2 points ahead of Kev going into our third to last fixture. I was playing bottom of the league. I knew I needed to rotate. We had Ramble up next. Rotated, felt they would be strong enough to win that game, and we didn't. I won't repeat the words I used when the first goal went in, because we were creating, and it was this constantly missing the target over and over again. And then I know it was fairly late on. It was basically two very direct plays, both coming from his left back through to his striker, in on net, and finished it off. It is what it is. And then we played Kev, actually shown live on the When Dirt podcast, even against my protest, because last time we went on there and shared a game, it was the most boring 0-0 I've ever seen in my life. I don't even think there was a highlight in the second half. Lost 3-1 to the Ramble. I think what I need to show you is their first goal. I'd argue it's the best goal I've seen this season. And what I'm looking forward to with the new season's match engine is the curve dynamics that we're going to have implemented into the game. But I don't know what my goalkeeper's doing really there, but what a goal. What a goal. I think there was a second pretty tasty goal that they managed to score as well. So I know my team were creating a little bit. Yeah, not a bad volley, that one. I know my team were creating a little bit as we were playing and stuff. A lot of meh. There's no two ways about it. The Ramble had the better of the game in this game. I was trying to shape up my tactics a little bit more to try and counteract this, but I was pretty locked into a 4-4-2 with me buying them when I did. And who I bought them a couple of weeks before the mid-season transfer window, so I didn't have a lot of time to move things around. So yeah, the match concluded. We made a better fist of it in the last 30-40 minutes, but we weren't getting back into it. Kev took the lead. He went ahead in the league. I didn't feel like, he was then 4 points ahead of us, so I just put in a total rotation squad for last game of the season, and then we go into the playoff fixture, which you'll see there. We managed to see it out. Come through as 2-1 winners. It was a very tight game. Really, really tight game. They started really fast. First half, we were struggling. I was actually messaging some friends on Discord as we've been keeping an eye on each other's games, and I was thinking, oh, this isn't going to plan, and I've got people watching it. Second half, much better. I did a lot, and I mean a lot, of tactic testing over the last couple of days, which I'll probably do a video on during the off-season, talking about how I do that, just to give you a bit of an idea, though, if I just scroll back. Someone else doing friendlies. Let's load some more. You can see, yeah, this was me the other day. Just friendly after friendly after friendly, just doing some tactics to decide, and in the end I stuck to the 4-4-2 for the Stone Peacock. So that now means I've got an Iron Club, I've got Ice Club, and I'm going to have a Spark Club. Pretty happy with that. But let me just show you the roster, because I did do some pickups. You can sort of see this sort of average strength of play that I've got. I've mapped it out. I can easily field a very strong Ice team, a very strong Spark team. I do not have the agency for an Iron Club, and I just don't know what to do about it. Because, quick market check to make sure the Leeds license hasn't come on board, because you'll see me buying it online live. Nope, no joy. I've looked at the scouting market. I've had a bit of a nosy as to, okay, what would people be asking for if I just went the organic way and went this way? And the percentage shares being asked for, fair, people want to get their MFL in. I don't want to be playing this. I want to, like I did with the Stone Club had this time, as I came in on 0% rev share, I pulled some players in, I put my own players in to put the rev share up a little bit. I sold a couple of players that I did put in, so it's sitting at 6%. But I've taken care of these players. As I believe the progression this season has been very nice for them. I think I've managed them well. As you can see, the goalkeeper's up 4 rating, Davies up 3, 3, 2, 2. We've got a couple of tier breaks here. I've managed them well. I'm hoping I'm going to be able to get some contacts out there who want their players playing in an Iron League, in a solid team, and look to negotiate some rev share, because I think you should get some value back on the asset that you got. Typing in the wrong thing here when I'm trying to load it up. MFL Club, is it gonna? No, it's going to my drive. I'd be happy to load in a few people and guarantee the games. I think I can do that. I can put a squad together that would be competitive within 18 to 20 odd players. But in particular, I was moving over to here, so the sort of season 6 averages for the different leagues in terms of average top best 16 average. Iron sitting at the top 25 sits at 76.7. I've got nowhere near that. I don't think I want to invest any further capital wise. I want that Leeds license, but I don't want to invest any further. If they stayed in Stone, I still probably would have had to invest and loan smartly. So I will be looking to network and see if anybody wants to loan out their players, and see if anybody's wanting consistent game time for their players in an Iron team. My objective in that team is to remain competitive, keep the rotations up, get the 15 to 20 games per player, and just help someone out with their progression. So I don't know, talking around the 2 to 3% revenue share piece, and then good clauses for the games played and stuff, so I can make myself competitive. But I'm not sure, because I don't really want to just chuck the towel in and sell an Iron license at this point. I don't particularly like the idea of having to go into Iron, meet the minimum average player, whatever that is now. I can't remember, I need to look it up again. But look at the averages and then just chuck in a throwaway team and just be the punching bag for someone else in the league. Because I think it's just not quite in the essence of the nature of the game. I get it with like people like, I know it's talked about a lot with Nep and the guys who did the diamond heist and stuff. I mean, circumstances and situations, I think anyone would just do that to get the MFL coming in. It made a lot of sense with the way they thought it out. I think there's the possibility I can put a team together for Iron. I just need to get those negotiations sorted, because the one thing I don't want to do is basically just throw all my MFL out to someone else in the league. I know we've had that 15% buff, which is nice to see as well, with all the MFL rewards for next season. So where does that leave me? It leaves me with looking at progression super quick for the season. Let's have a look. So a fair bit of progression overall across the agency. I think ideally I will see some more moving forward with just rebalancing the teams and what leagues they'll be in, strength of opposition. In terms of standouts, I've got a point to Backman, to be honest, because I got him in my first season, mid-season transfer window, so it would have been last season, and he's just shot up. He's a fairly decent level he can play at. He was a 56 rated when I pulled him, and it's just the progression on his attribute. He's just been flying. If I put it on all time, yeah, he's just been flying up with his stats. Obviously, he's reaching the age when he can put in that notice that he'll be retiring and stuff. But yeah, strength of the season. Estrada's done interestingly well out on loan, even though he's not played a lot. He's progressed a lot. Brunner's gone up 2, which I'm happy with. He managed to get a tier break in this season, so see if we can push on there. Meyer has been really impressive, getting a lot of goals in Spark. Whether he can do the step up to ice, I'm not sure. I have been actually mapping out roughly an idea of who would be in what squad, with the idea being, okay, what formations could I run with that squad? Because that's the biggest thing I've learned this season, especially when it's been crunch time. So having the flexibility to actually swap tactics and formation, because I've been pretty tethered to the same ones. So yeah, what would you do? In my situation, with my agency, now effectively going to be having an iron club, how do I facilitate that? I don't want to be chucking hundreds more dollars at this point, I don't think. I think before I do any more investment into my agency to that level, I want to have a real clear idea of what I'm trying to achieve and how I'm going to achieve it. And yeah, I can't make my mind up. So yeah, fingers crossed your season's gone well. If you have been in the playoffs or you still are, best of luck. It's been really fun actually jumping in other people's streams, other people talking about their playoffs and stuff, and just watching a couple of the games. Feel free to comment if you've got any suggestions as to what you do, because I'm going to have to do some serious thinking. I've got a couple of videos planned for the off-season building up to. I'm going to go through tactics. I'm going to go through the testing and the process I do for testing tactics for various different formations. Probably do an update on the fatigue and the impact fatigue has, because I've now got a full season's worth of data. I'll have 3 teams worth if I really wanted to go that far. And I'm going to continue working on my progression tool. That was my previous video, and thanks for all the support on that, and equally all the support on the channel, because I've ever since I put that last video out, I've boomed in terms of subs. I mean, say boomed, 84. I'm grateful for anything really, but I think we were sitting about the high 60s, low 70s mark, and it's just shot up the last couple of days. Getting a lot of feedback, getting a lot of people reaching out. I'm loving this community. And if anyone from MFL is watching, when is the UK meetup? Because some of us couldn't make our way over to Paris. It needs to happen. We need to do one in the UK, and I promise I'll come along and play nice. But yeah, let me know how you've got on, guys. Speak to you in the next one, and thanks for watching. See you later.